Well, hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally the things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. And on this pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things, we have stuff and things to talk about, including, get my Rhodia pad here, upcoming videos, things that you can look forward to on Stuff and Things and working. We're going to be talking about the cost of pipe tees going up recently and what that means for the hobby and for all of us. That's kind of our main topic. And then, of course, we will get into your questions, comments, and feedback in hashtag askstuffandthings. So let's get into it. You catch me here in my office. I was working on a different video that I'm doing for the channel, so I figured I would record the Sunday Stuff and Things here as opposed to the Stuff and Things studios. So, what can you look forward to on Stuff and Things and working? Well, first, this coming week, we will have the full review of Rattray's, where's the light? Rattray's Red Rapparee. I did the first impressions video of this the week before last, and I like it. It's good stuff. I enjoyed this quite a bit. I've had Old Gowrie. I'm pretty sure I reviewed Old Gowrie on the channel, and I've had Hollow the Wind. A lot of people want me to try Marlin Flake, so I'm sure I'll be getting to some more Rattray's blends in the future, but from what I have experienced so far of Rattray's, I've liked their blends quite a bit, and I don't think this will be an exception. So check out the full review coming up this Wednesday. The Wednesday after that on Stuff and Things, we're going to talk about the process of ordering a custom pair of boots from Nicks Handmade Boots, located in Spokane, Washington, just over the mountains from where I am here. I got this pair of boots. Well, this isn't a pair, this is one of the boots. These are the Urban Loggers, or this is a Urban Logger from Nicks Handmade Boots. I was so blown away by these boots that ever since I got them, I've been scheming and planning to get a pair of custom boots from them. I've wanted to do a timeless style video on engineer boots, and Nicks offers two styles, and I finally swung it where I was able to order a custom pair with some discount and stuff. Nothing through Nicks, like it's not sponsored or anything. They're not giving me any free boots, but I was able to have a discount code, put some money aside, and I ordered those boots. They should be coming maybe in a few weeks. It's been well over a month since I ordered them initially, but I thought it would be cool and useful to a lot of people out there to show you the whole process of ordering a pair of custom boots. All the different options, there are so many, it might be a little daunting if you don't know what they all mean. So I did a video about that, and that will post not next week, but the week after. On working, it's an off week this week, but if you haven't watched the episode 20 that I posted last week, you should. You can see all the snow that we were getting. Well, not even all the snow, because that was when I think maybe 8 inches had dropped, but we ended up getting over a foot of snow. But I had a little bit of a snow day. I couldn't get to the job, and so I was answering some critical comments on some of the short videos that I posted on working. So I think it's pretty entertaining. You should check that video out. And then the next week, it'll be episode 21, where we are pouring the gigantic, huge foundation that we've been working on for weeks now. So that is something that you shouldn't miss. And then Stuff and Things Plays still exists. You should go check out any of the series that you haven't watched yet. Lots of good stuff coming up on Stuff and Things and working. All right, gang, so I got a comment from someone on YouTube. This is from @Jorge Mauricio Camacho Antezana. Wow, what a name. Let me just read you this comment here. What do you think about the increase in the price of pipe tea? It's amazing how fast prices are going up. I don't know if this is due to government regulations or to an excess of demand that keeps pushing prices up. I think in a couple of years it will be very difficult to keep this hobby going without spending hundreds of dollars for a few ounces of tea. Maybe you could make a video talking about these things and about what lies ahead for all of us who love to SPTs. Best regards, Jorge Mauricio Camacho Antezana. Sorry Mauricio, or Jorge Mauricio. It's a good question, and it's definitely something I've noticed. So I thought I would look into this a little bit and just talk about some of my own experiences, and I would love to get some feedback from you guys in the comment section, because I know this is going to be extremely variable based on where you live. First of all, in what country you live, and then second, if you're in the US, which state you live in. right off the bat, Washington State has ridiculously high tea taxes. And so throughout the whole time I've been into this hobby, I've never purchased pipe teas locally, or almost never, because the taxes are just ridiculous. Back when I first got into this in 2012, 2013, around there, a tin of at that time, Dunhill pipe tea would be, I don't know, $23, $24. And now I don't even know. We don't even have any local brick and mortar stores left in my town, so I don't even know what it sells for in Washington, but I'm assuming it's close to $30 a tin. It's going to be really expensive. So if you go online, you can get it for cheaper if you're in the US. I know it's different in Europe and other parts of the world. Now, also, I'm not allowed to have any of it shipped to me in Washington, or I can't buy direct from retailers, so I have to have friends and family send it to me, but I still keep up on what the prices are on the various websites, the major retailers like Smoking Pipes. So I went back and I looked back when I could still order from Smoking Pipes, and that was in, I think I stopped like right around 2020. I wasn't allowed to anymore. And that was right before the pandemic hit. And so I had an order from February 1st, 2020. And on that order, a tin of Elizabethan was $10.62 for one tin of Peterson Elizabethan. Reasonable. Now, on smokingpipes.com, a tin of Elizabethan is $13.38. So a little quick math, that is a 26% increase. So that's in about 4 years. 26% in 4 years. Significant, but if you look at the rate of inflation, and again, this is going to be disputed, but from what I could see, for consumer inflation since 2020, prices have risen 19%. Now, in some things, like if I go to the grocery store, I can see that prices have raised 100%. 50%, 80%, it just depends. Inflation has been ridiculous. I spend probably twice as much going to the grocery store as I used to 3 or 4 years ago. So I don't know if that 19% rate is actually true. Obviously, it depends on all sorts of different factors, the price of gas, consumer electronics, cars, like all sorts of things. So you can't just say that it's this blanket percentage increase for inflation, but we'll just go with the rate of 19%. So if you go by that, then 26% is obviously a bit higher than the normal rate of consumer inflation. But to me, it seems kind of in line with just how much prices have been increasing in general. I mean, in construction, we went through a phase where lumber was 4 to 5 times more expensive for a while. So in general, prices have increased a ridiculous amount. I don't know how much of it has to do, as far as pipe blends, how much of that has to do with local taxes and things like that. I'm tempted, or I'm inclined to assume that most of the increase is just the general price increase that we've been experiencing with all our consumer goods. It might also have something to do with the fact that people just feel like if they can charge more, they will charge more. As to whether or not in a couple years, as Jorge says, it will be difficult to keep this hobby going without spending hundreds of dollars for a few ounces of tea. Again, it depends on where you are. It depends on what you want. I'm not buying it in such large quantities that it's a huge problem. Typically, I will get an order in every couple months or so, and that lasts me a few months, and it's fine. Like, it's not a huge hardship yet. I think if the prices raised, I don't know, I don't want to give anyone any ideas, but if they raised over another 50, 60, even 100%, I would still be able to do this, because it's not like buying milk or buying eggs. It's not a necessity. It's not a staple that I'm having to go to the store and get all the time. But yeah, I'm curious what everyone else thinks, what you have experienced wherever you are in the world or in the country. The prices have definitely gone up. I don't think they have gone up significantly more than just general inflation and just how much prices have gone up anyway for consumer goods. But I'd love to hear what you all think. I've definitely noticed it, but it hasn't gotten to the point where it's killing me yet. Let me know in the comments below. All right, gang, but now it is time for hashtag askstuffandthings. Remember, if you have a question for me and you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, you can tweet at SATBradley with the hashtag askstuffandthings. You can write to me via Patreon if you are a Patreon supporter and go right to the front of the line. You can hit that super thanks button under this video and go right to the front of the line, or you can leave me questions, comments, and feedback in the comments section of my YouTube videos, just like at Jason21602 did. This is feedback from last week's Sunday Stuff and Things. Jason says, "Hi Bradley. Concerning your viewer who is looking for their one-pipe tea, he mentioned that he goes back to aromatics, so maybe aromatics are his #1 blends. But he could try some semi-aromatics, such as McFadin Vanilla Flake or Stokkebye's 1931 Flake, which have high-quality Virginia in them and a mild flavored casing." Good advice. At Not Dead Yet 76 says, "I am new to pipe tea, about a year. I started on aromatics and found Peterson's Deluxe Navy Rolls to be my go-to and old reliable tea." It's a good choice. At Frank's Page says, "I can understand, quote, being stuck with aromatics. My gripe on arrows was that most of them did not have any strength, nor did they have much flavor, or much tea flavor. What I did at that time, I started to add my favorite aromatics to vapors. Not a whole lot, just enough to get the flavors through. In these experiments, I settled with, to me anyways, the amazing blend of Elizabethan, Royal Yacht, Stanwell Vanilla, Dan T. Da Vinci, and finally Cult Blood Red Moon. Proportions in order: 30 grams, 30 grams, 20 grams, 20 grams, 20 grams. This blend is by far my favorite overall ever since. It's basically a strong vapor base with rum, vanilla, red wine, and cherry all in one." I wanted to include this because I just thought it was interesting to have these exact proportions in this very complicated mixture. I'm curious if anyone else out there wants to throw this together, see what you think. Very interesting. At Rich Newman said, "The two blends that I absolutely find myself coming back to again and again, and actually crave if I'm away for too long, are GLP's Gaslight," one of my favorites, and Quiet Nights, another one of my favorites. Very good choices. Both of them are just outstanding S's blends. The only other tea that comes close is Samuel Gawith's 1792 Flake, which I've had. It's been years since I had it, and I was a little ugh about it at the time. I should definitely try that again, though. It was an interesting blend for sure. At Blake's Pipes, who asked that question initially during last week's Sunday Stuff and Things about finding his one blend, said, "Well, thank you." A lot of people gave great feedback to At Blake's Pipes. "Well, thank you, sir, for stating something I typed. Sparked you to make a segment on your S&T Saturday. I kept puffing and trying new tins and tea blends. I did buy half-a-gallon mason jars for the future. My Elizabethan right now is CAD Autumn Eve." So by Elizabethan, he just means his staple blend, which Elizabethan is for me. "But it doesn't store well at all. I had 3 pounds and 8-ounce tins. It's not aging well. I will have tried by the end of this year over 100 blends, as I think I have tried over 60 this year. Again, looking forward to your next video at all times." And yeah, Blake, whatever works for you is great, but that was kind of the point I was mentioning when I was saying maybe you should narrow things down, and it's fun to try new blends all the time, but if you're trying to find the one blend, you should home in on things that you have enjoyed in the past and try them again instead of always trying something new. I think that might be hindering you from finding that one blend since you're always trying different things. Just my advice, don't need to follow it. Then we have at Clean Doctor Man 8182, it's spelled strangely. "I'd be perfectly happy to like a lot of blends and never find the one. Honestly, I'm amazed at how many great pipe teas are available in a hobby that seems to be way past its heyday." It is interesting that even though it's a very niche market, it's not wide appeal, just pipes in general, there are enough people, and I guess enough people with disposable income, that these companies are able to still manufacture these blends. It's kind of cool. Then finally, at Tom Brown 1898 says, "As far as love goes, there is one pipe blend I loved almost immediately, and that was Balkan Sobrani Original Essing Mixture. I found that love when I was 18. Similarly, there was only one woman I truly loved, and I was 38 when I found her. Both are long gone now." Sorry to hear that, Tom, but the memories remain. The difference between the two is that Balkan Sobrani wouldn't have minded if I bought a tin of something else. Now, we have some feedback from the 1-year update on my Casio GW5000U. At Tom Brown again says, Bradley, I just want a watch to tell time. Even as a little kid, I was always captivated by watches, and at age 11 bought a men's Timex that must have looked quite comical on my wrist. Back in the 1980s, a friend and I had a side hustle dealing in old mechanical watches. Cool. We didn't make much money, but it was a lot of fun. Never cared at all for digital displays, but I must admit that watch of yours is pretty damned cool. Great show today. And it is a very cool watch. Watch that video if you haven't yet. At user-L5ND2KN2R says, I don't think you can go wrong with a G-Shock, especially a digital quartz without hands. No mechanical items to wear out or go faulty. I know G-Shocks are very reliable though, so how much a handed version could go errant is something I'm not aware of. Anyway, you have the option of resin or metal for the case material in their range, so that's really all you need to think about outside the features you want the watch to perform. A great watch. Hear, hear. And then finally, at Blake's Pipes again, why can't I read? Why do you make me want to spend money on a wristwatch? Damn you, Bradley. Sorry, at Blake's Pipes. Thank you all for that feedback. Please keep it coming in. It helps make the show go. But now, it is time for the very best part of the show, and that is where we thank our Patreon supporters, remember. If you would like to support the channels on Patreon, there is a link in the description box below, and it is much appreciated. Helps pay for the fancy camera that is filming this video, the lights that are shining upon me, products and blends for review. It also allows you to watch these videos early and ad-free on Patreon itself. And every week, we like to shout out those who support the channels at $25 or more a month. People like Glenn Dunnington, Jason Buckner, MD of the North, David Gaudreau, Ryan McFadin, Arcturus, Ashes of the Phoenix, and Jonathon Proctor. And of course, the crazy people, the maniacs who support the channels at $100 a month. People like Bob Magee. And we'll never forget our dearly departed friend and Hall of Fame member, Peter Straub. Gang, thank you so much for watching. Please stay tuned for the full review of Red Rapparee. Also, the video detailing the process of ordering a custom pair of boots from Nicks Handmade Boots. Check out Working. All the videos that you may or may not have seen, check those out. Go back and watch the back catalog on Stuff and Things Plays. But until next time, until we meet again, I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. I'll see you later.